Hello Sumit, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we'll be learning how to make this beautiful dress with the cape structure at the upper part of it. The only difference between mine and the one on the tube nail is that mine does not have gathers on the waistline. That's because my fabric is not enough. Okay, so let's get started. So this is where we stopped in the part one. I'm just going to put the upper part aside so that we can cut the circle part. Okay, so the fabric I have with me now, I have already folded it into two in this place because my table is not that big to show you the folding, but you're going to see it. So I folded it into two, you can see, right? So you arrange it properly. So after folding it into two, I'm now going to fold it in a bias form to get the flare. I am not doing a full flare, okay? Is half flare I am sewing. So I now make it into a bias form. You can see that it's folded into two equal parts. Then I held one part and I folded it. So this is your bias form folding. So after folding it this way, the next thing you want to do now is to get your waist measurement. So if I had enough fabric, right, I would have shifted the tape from where it will measure 8.5 to where it will measure like 18 inches or like 16 inches. That is times 2 of my waist measurement to draw gathers. But if I should shift the fabric to that, if I should shift the tape to that part, right, the dress will be too short. So my fabric is not enough. That's why we are not having gathers, okay? So I'm going to mark where the waistline will sit on. So I'm just going to place my tape like so. You can see how I'm arranging the tape. I'm curving the tape because that part you need the curve. It doesn't have to be straight, okay? So I will now create the curve. So after creating the curve now, from this line that I'm marking now, I will determine the full length, the length I need for the circle. If it's 20 inches now, I will measure 20 inches downwards, okay? So when I get it that way, I'm now going to measure from the upper part to the length I want for the actual circle. Then I will mark it. Then I'm going to use that part to measure it round. Let's say it is 30 or 35. I will measure it all round. Then after measuring it round, you can see that as I'm measuring it, I am connecting the lines also. So the next thing I will have to do now after connecting it is to go ahead and cut it out. So after cutting it now, I'm going to bring the half length so that we can join the upper part to the skirt part that we've just cut. So now this is the skirt part on the table and this is the upper part. I've already made a mark with chalk at the middle to get the midpoint, okay, and I've already done the same for the skirt. So what you do now, you now have to pin it together, but we want to do an inseam finishing. You can see that I'm not pinning the lining together with it. It's just the main fabric I'm holding. So what I did now to get a neat finishing was that I sewed the skirt inside. So I'm going to flip the fabric now. I'm going to flip it, then I'm going to push the skirt part inside. I'm sewing it inside completely. Then we're now going to create a part at the sides to pull everything out by the time we are done sewing it. So it's just that I don't want any joining at the waist part. So that's what this is about. So you can see what we have here. So you can see me shooking the skirt inside. So now this skirt now is going to be in between the lining and the main fabric, okay? So I'm going to now remove the pin now and pin it. You know that I've already pinned the skirt to the other side, to the main fabric before. I'll remove the pin, then cover it with the lining. So you can see that the skirt is in between the lining and the main fabric. So I'm just going to do that. I will arrange it all through. Go ahead and sew it in the sewing machine. Just run a straight stitch to sew it, and after sewing it, this is what we have, right? I've gone ahead to sew it. So at the side, which is the center back, right, I'm going to make an opening so that I can flip it over. Please, if you've not seen part one, you will not understand this part. It is the part 1 we drafted the tube that we are working on here. Okay, so this one is majorly the circle part, and that cape in front of it, how it was made, that's what this part is about. So you can see that I've created the opening, right? So I will just flip it to the right side. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. There will be no mercy on YouTube, comment fashion on YouTube without you. I really appreciate. If you're new to my channel, you're welcome, and you are very much needed to be among us. So you can see me that I am flipping it to, I am removing the skirt part from it. So after that, this is what you will get. So the side now that I opened to pull it out, I'm going to go to the sewing machine and close it up with a straight stitch. So can you see what I'm doing? So I'm just going to go to the sewing machine and close this part up, then I will come back. So after closing it now, the next part is to go ahead and attach the zipper. Okay, so here now I've gone ahead to close it. You can see how neat the inside of it is also. So now I'm just going to grab my zipper, then I'm going to fold the dress into two. So we're going to join the center back together and then attach the zipper. So what I will do now, I'm just going to use my zipper to, excuse me, to measure the full length, as in the length where the zipper will end. Okay, so I'm just going to mark it with my chalk, and from the place I will mark down, I will sew a straight stitch down, then I will attach the zipper to the other part. So I've done that part. So here is the cape now. We've attached the zipper to the dress. Okay, the cape is measuring 10 inches and it is already into 2. So I'm folding it again, which means I'm folding it into 4. Then at the center of it, I'm going to come up by 2 inches. Then I will connect with my curve ruler. So now it is this curve that you will make that will give you the curve in front. I'm sorry that my phone is not bringing out the details. The curve, everything showed. That's because of this part that I curved. Okay, so I'm just going to cut it out, and after cutting it out, I will go straight to the sewing machine and I will join it together, leaving a part. Okay, I'm going to leave a part open. I'm going to join it. I'll join both sides and I'll join this part. I'll leave a part open to turn it. So after that, this is what we have. I've gone ahead to turn it and I've ironed it properly. So we are going to attach it to the dress. I'll wear the dress on a mannequin. So here, this is where we are. I've gone ahead to wear the dress on the mannequin, and this is the cape. On the curve part of the cape now, I'm going to draw gathers with my thread. The thread is folded into 4. Please, the fabric I am using for this dress is Mikado silk. Okay, so it is very thick, and that's why the thread is folded into 4. So I'm just going to draw the gathers off camera to save our time. It's the normal gathers, the way you draw your normal gathers. You can see me drawing it here, and like I said, the fabric is Mikado silk, and I used 2.5 yards to make it. It is left though, I didn't finish it. Okay, the remaining one can make a skirt. So let's say 2 yards can make it. It depends on how big you are. Okay, so now after making the cape, now I went ahead to create a curve. Okay, like I'm just tracing where I'm going to put it, and you know that it's somewhat at the under bust. Okay, but it's not a straight, the cape was not attached straight, so I'm just curving the line. Okay, so I'm just covering the line. You can see that I've already made my markings before I am highlighting it here, because I need the picture to know exactly what to do. So after tracing the line, the next thing you have to do now is to now bring the cape on it. I wanted to pin the cape on it on the dress form, but it was quite difficult, right? So we are going to take it to the table. We'll take the dress to the table because we've gotten the lines we need, the line to work on. You can see the chalk marking on the dress. So I'm going to arrange the cape on it accordingly. So, and I will pin it down. So as you put in the cape, you are arranging it. You make sure that the gathers, they are no more on one side than the other side. Arrange it equally. As you're arranging it, you're pinning it. As you're arranging it, you're pinning it. Then you go straight to your machine and you just run a straight stitch to press it down. Okay, so I will just continue to pin and arrange it. Then when I'm done, I'll go ahead and sew. So after arranging it completely, I will go ahead and sew it. I'll go straight to the sewing machine and sew, just run a straight stitch and come back. So here now I've gone ahead to sew it. You can see it, right? So the next thing now, you are flipping it upwards, then go ahead and give it a good press. But please, we are not done. There is still one step left to achieving the cape. Okay, so now I'll just go ahead and iron and come back. Here I've gone ahead to iron it. I have my threaded into 4 also. So what we are going to be doing now, we are going to be tacking the cape on the upper part. You know how to do this invisible tacking. That's how you would do it. I could not really show the details of the tacking, but it's when you pick a little part of the pieces, right? Then you just sew. So that's what I am doing here. I am basically just tacking the cape to the dress itself, to give it the structure that we're looking for. So that's how we'll continue to tack it. And another thing you should do is that you make sure that the thread is in between. Okay, the thread is not showing even on the outside of the dress where the cape is covering. So it is just a little part of it you are picking. So I'm using the needle to pass in between the dress and the lining inside. So none of the thread is showing on the main bust of the dress, neither on the cape. So I'm just pinching a little part of it to sew it down. Okay, that is if you understand what I'm saying. So I will continue until I'm done tacking it to the other end. Okay, I will just continue doing it like that. Now, as you're picking it, if you notice that a part of it is too open, because if you leave space too much, you know this fabric is thick, it is going to open up. But you can see how neatly done it is here. At this point, I am done tacking it. And this brings us to the end of the video, and this is it on my body. You can see how nice it is. If you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share. Thank you for watching. Bye.